are you, doctor? Wow, that's me.
Yeah, you're gonna be on video. Say hi.
Hi.
Good.
250, please.
All right.
So your class?
Welcome to the 10th week.
This up.
Students who don't belong to this class, you can leave now or sit quietly at the back. Right. Okay. I have received some requests about the midterm. Some people want it online, and some people don't want it online. So I say, if you convince me from your ethical frameworks. So who wants the midterm to be online?
I'm saying we don't have.
Why? Why? Online. Why? Why? Convince me why. Riami.
First of all,
Yes, first of
it
all.
would be easier for you and easier for me.
Easier for me.
Yes. First of all, like you shouldn't mark it.
Easier.
Yes, easier.
Easy to mark.
What do you mean easier? Can you be more
Like,
specific?
Like automatic.
Automatic.
Huh?
Automatic mark.
So let's work.
Yes.
Okay, so let's work. Yes?
Okay.
And
Save
for you?
time.
For you? No?
Yes.
For you is the same.
Save paper.
Nothing. For you, nothing.
Okay. Save the environment. No paper. Yes.
The main point.
This is.
Okay.
Okay. Save the environment. Save the environment.
So I put environment. Okay, what else?
Okay. Save time.
Yeah, it's this one. Save time. Paper. Save.
Maybe you forget the paper.
Good, good, good. What else? Nice, 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 nice. This is positive, negative things to do the thing.
Negative.
Cheating.
What?
It's halal.
Cheating?
It's halal.
What happened? Cheating? What do you mean? Do people cheat? What are the minus?
Okay, the minus may be hard.
Very difficult.
Tell me the truth. What are the minus?
Paper or online? Online? Maybe someone will not charge his laptop.
Okay, yeah, yeah, technical problems. Tech problems, yeah. It's actually 1% of the students have problems. What else? Yeah, but paper is worse. So
No, you should.
hold on. Really?
Objective.
Paper is friendly for environment. Okay. Electricity consumption.
Objective. You want to save electricity, like you should like turn on the printer. Printer more, printer midterms.
Okay, okay.
You save no.
Is this the only minus things?
Yes. See?
Oh, no. Online, we have a limited time. You have to submit before that time. And paper.
Same. Yes.
We will ask you
You can be flexible in paper.
Seriously, this is the only minus things of online. Or are we forgetting some positive things of online for you?
Minus thing, we cannot go back to the previous question.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yes, that's the worst thing.
Yes.
We should save
Why is that?
Shh, what?
we should save the resource of our neighbors.
Yeah. Okay. Is this the only? Is this the only thing?
We can't go back in question.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Doctor, can make money. Let me say something.
Riami.
Like technology century. We can like no more paper. It's all online technology.
And learn
Like-
can guess.
I'm gonna say cheating. Is this a problem?
Victor,
Hold on. All right. Okay, this is more or less the picture, yes? Now, try to convince me from you why we should do it online after we see all this. Riami, technology, what are you saying about technology? We are in IT.
Yeah, first of all, we are IT students. IT
students.
Technology century
Technology, we don't use technology. That doesn't make sense, right?
online.
Okay, what approach is Riami using to convince me?
Value.
Values approach, right?
Yeah, and we got a utility one.
Wait a second, values, right?
Actually, you don't have to get like.
Does it make sense that we say that because it's online, people cheat more? What kind of IT college are we? Like, can we not solve this problem with technology or what, right? So that doesn't make sense, right? So it's a very good argument. Like how the College of IT doesn't do online exams. There's a lot of, there's no excuse to say students cheat more online because there's so much technology. So you could say, it's like you say, are you being lazy that you don't want to use new technology? Because there's a lot of new technology, right? So that's a very good argument. Values, laziness,
Utility.
and values like you're IT, you should be using IT. You should be at the forefront. So that's a very strong argument that you could use that you have not used to convince me. Okay, and now you cannot use it. Next, what other arguments can you use to convince me to do an online test? Utility.
Yes.
What would be the utility approach?
First of all, you save paper, save inks, save time.
Some
You'll be
people,
more comfortable.
Ali says that we will spend more in electricity than on paper. How can we solve this problem?
You use electricity. How you like to print the paper?
Show me.
By getting on the printer.
Ali? You say that the electricity is worse for the environment than the paper, yeah? How can we find out who's right?
We can look at data and statistics.
We could look at data. How much does it cost to do the exam online? Yes.
With paper, you will only use one print. So, but with
How can we need to measure both things in the same units, right? So here we have, you want to do it unit analysis by student. So here we print one paper, and here you spend 1 hour in front of a screen.
Okay.
So what's the cost of printing one paper? What's the cost of one person being 1 hour in front of a screen?
I pay.
Wait, hold on. And you transform everything into CO2,
Okay.
because when you're on the screen, you consume energy, and to do electricity, we burn oil here. So how much does it cost for you to be 1 hour? How much oil, how much kilograms, how much liters of oil does DIWA burn so that you can be 1 hour in front of a screen? Do you know? It's about 100 grams of oil, more or less. How much oil do we need to burn to make a piece of paper? No, you need. Somebody needs to cut a tree. Somebody needs to bring the tree here.
How
Wait.
you get it?
Somebody needs to run the paper, which is the paper factory, which consumes a lot of water and electricity. So how can we find out? So you look at the price of the paper, and you say, with that money, how much oil can I buy? And then you see which one is bigger. And then you see, oh, this is worse or no. Okay? So you could do this analysis. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then you could use the utility approach to say online or not online. Does this make sense? What other approaches can you use? the time also, right? So you could do the same. You could look at the money, but also the time. How much do I get paid per hour? How many hours do you save me if we do it like this or like that? If we do it online, I spend 4 hours doing the test. If it's paper, I spend 4 hours plus 30 minutes for every one of you. So that's 900 minutes, right? So that's like 10, 15 hours, right? Okay, how much does Jose get paid per day, per hour? Look at the money and say, oh, wow, definitely online should be, from a utilitarian approach, you should do it online. What other approaches can you use? Values, we already saw it, right? Cheating. But, so so how would you do it, Ali? Should not cheat in the exam. And because of that, we are not going to use technology.
They can cheat like on paper still.
So here, the problem with values is you have to define your values first. So you can say, the most important thing in my society is that the students don't cheat. It's not a very great value because it's negative. Is this our greatest thing in our society, that the students don't cheat? Or is this what you want to be? Like, you don't do anything because you're afraid somebody will cheat? Or you could say, I want a society where students trust each other, or people trust, or where we don't stop technology because somebody is afraid of some little thing. Yes? Okay, so you have to think about it. So if you try to use values to say it should not be online, it should be on paper because people cheat, and Riami can use the same values approach to say you are in IT and you say you cannot use, you can say you are lazy, he can say you are lazy, he can say you're in IT and you don't use IT, like that doesn't make sense, right? Yes. He can win you in so many places, whereas you, the only argument you have is a negative one, which is, I'm afraid that people will cheat, that's why we don't do it. That's not a very, you will lose this argument very quickly. Make sense? Right. So we've seen values, utilitarian, what else can we see? What other arguments could you convince me to do it online?
More happiness.
Utilitarian approach, more happiness, yeah. For some reasons. So we already seen utilitarian. It's hard to measure happiness, but we can measure money, time, or, so you have, to compare, you need to convert everything to one unit that you choose. It doesn't matter which one. Utilitarian, and what else? Common good. Common good approach, what? Can we say something about this common good approach?
From utilitarian approach, we saw that we, in paper, less carbon oxide.
Perfect. If this was true, yeah, you say, come on, for the environment. Common good approach. And the last one, framework, which one is it? The last one. Yes? Common good. And what's the other one? Fairness. Fairness. Okay. So what about fairness? I don't have an answer either. I don't know.
So it's not to be like equal.
You can't go back from the question. Maybe I want to think another question.
Is it fair that we don't do it because I don't trust you that you will not cheat? You can say that. Say, oh, you're not being fair to us because you are prejudging us. Okay, you could use that. You're not being fair to us because you assume we will cheat. And I say, no, I just look at the statistics.
Don't assume.
Don't assume. Okay, good. Okay, that will be the analysis. Okay, that will be analysis. Okay, let's say I decide to do it online. Am I being ethical?
No.
No. Who say yes? Who says no? No, why?
For me, why it's unethical?
Why I'm being not ethical, according to you?
Because you know that the people, what they will do, and you're allowing them to do it.
No, 0 in the exam. Who say yes?
Because like it will be no laziness, like we are using technology stuff and like
Hey, focus on the question. What was the question?
is it ethical?
No. Have I been ethical?
Huh?
Have I been ethical in my decision making?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, yes.
From utilitarian approach, you have not been ethical in your decision because you made us all sad and you made
Not all.
No. 0 in the exam again. You
zero again.
In the fairness value, in the fairness, like you made like more than half the
No,
class
no, no,
happy.
no. Focus on the question. What's the question? Have I been ethical in my decision making?
Oh, we need to put the big chart.
Another, well, now half point. How? Yes.
How do
It will be ethical, like, if you choose like the most people who want.
No. No, 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 no,
we
no, no,
need
no.
to take 5 steps to reach your conclusion.
Why have I been unethical in my decisions? If I choose online or if I choose paper.
If you choose paper, like you are not saving the environment.
Another 0.
We don't need to assume.
Uh-huh.
We need to think about it.
How could I have been more ethical in my decision making? Or how can I ensure I will be ethical? I didn't follow the process, right? What's the process?
You need to first generalize the statement.
First, I need to say what's the problem.
Yes.
And the problem would be what?
What's it called? Jose allowing online exams.
No. Good, but better?
Should online exams be allowed?
Yeah. The test will be online or paper.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Online or paper test.
Yeah. Let's write the general steps. So you
Online
can choose the exam.
or paper test, right? That's it. Simple, right? Don't make it complicated.
Okay.
Step number 2, what's that?
Identify the stakeholder.
Alternatives. No, stakeholders. Yes.
Students
Students want online, right?
and the professor. We don't say.
Students want online. Professor worried about cheating. Worried about cheating. And that's it. Environment, we should consider the environment actually, yeah. Environment, very good. Good point.
Student online.
What else? What's the other second step? Identify alternatives, right? What are the alternatives? Online or paper, right?
Yes.
In this case, it's very easy, right? Alternatives, online,
Or not attending. Can be.
it could be. Online or paper. And then what? Evaluate each alternative. Is what we have done. So I was not ethical because I just did an analysis of what would happen if I do it online and not very well, not very clear, okay? But I didn't follow the process. Online or paper, evaluate utilitarian approach, values approach, all the approaches, one approach only, I don't know, but at least evaluate, right? So you could count from utilitarian approach, okay, impact of each alternatives. Impact on the environment, impact on the students, yes? Money saved, money not saved, which is this. And then what? Number 3, I choose one.
Yes.
I do it.
Based on the approach.
Number 4,
This one here, you is sad. We are sad because you did it on paper.
yes.
You should put you sad.
I'm not sad, I don't care.
Us.
Oh, you
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
sad. There
No,
is.
above. No, cheating. Us happy.
There's a flaw in this analysis because I put positive and negative, so I'm prejudging who thinks it's positive or who thinks it's negative. So it's not a very good analysis, right? Can you see that? So you want me to put SAT here. You are the students.
Yes. Here, sad.
No.
So it's a plus. So you see the problem? Yes, of this approach. So it's much better to say utilitarian, what happens in this situation, what happens in this situation, not like plus or minuses. Number 4, implement it. So I do it online. Let's say I do it online. It's going to be online, by the way. But there's also going to be a paper part. Could be. It's not ethical? Okay, convince me and I'll give you an A in the course. Number 4, you do it. So I'm telling you, I already did the online test. I checked how much time it cost me to do it. 4 hours, perfect. And now what?
Solution.
5, after we did it, we check what really happened. I'm going to check a few things, like how much people cheated or not cheated, if people are happy or not.
We assume here.
If the objective of the test, which is to assess your knowledge, was okay or not, and so on. Does it make sense? And only if I did all that, not just this, if I really spend some time considering the stakeholders, if I spend some time considering the alternatives, only then you can say I was ethical in my decision making. Regardless of what I chose. I could be wrong. I could have taken the worst decision ever. Like, Jose, how could you do that? Well, but I did the analysis and we thought it was a good idea. Ah, okay, it's true. If you look at the analysis, it looks like a good idea. It doesn't matter. Then nobody can say we were not unethical. You can be wrong, make mistakes, as long as you show that you really considered the alternatives, evaluate them, and follow up. Does it make sense? If you don't do this, I don't care how right you are. You were not ethical. Because one day you'll be very wrong. Okay. Make sense? Yes. You.
So the writing part will be on.
The writing part will be optional. The writing part is great because I will ask you something like, what did you learn in the course? Or I will give you it's the bonus question. Great. So everybody's happy.
Yes.
But the online is difficult.
I know.
No, it's not difficult, but if you don't know what you're talking about, you will not answer it's not the typical multiple choice question that asks you what are the 4 ethical frameworks, okay? We passed that. It checks if you really know what's going on. Questions?
Is the online open book?
No, because to prevent cheating and all that stuff, you just can see the question one time, you do it, and you move on. That's it.
But doctor, I don't know that.
It's like in real life. When you have a situation,
Yes.
you cannot go back and change. You have a few seconds to decide what to do. You do it. That's it. It's like real life. Yes.
You have a question and you see something that you don't know, but you can't remember, then go for the.
In real life, you cannot do that. In real life, you have to take a decision.
It's not very light. It's always happened in the work.
Maybe you saw something else and then remember, go back.
Online is not perfect. It's not perfect either. Okay?
So for the writing part, only this what we said, that's the bonus. The writing step
Is the online open book?
No. The writing is open book. The writing part is open book. All right, questions? Now, you have some document to read here about the crash of the Boeing 737. Spend 1 minute to read it. Just 1 minute.
This is in our exam?
Might be.
Thank you.
Might be. Why is the projector not working?
We should do this one. 5 general steps.
Yes. Is the projector not working? Yes, we are. You can share it. Why is the projector not working? 10:23.
Do you recommend me to study for the midterm?
Time's up. All right, guys. Let's see. Are you familiar with the Boeing crash, 737 MAX?
Yes, yes.
Can somebody tell me what happened? Can somebody tell me what happened? What happened? Anybody follow the news? Yes.
It's a
Yes, Ali.
Two crashes in last 5 months.
Very good. Two crashes of the same plane in the same situation. So now no such, they stop flying these planes. What is the problem? Why these planes are crashing?
With the MCA.
because they're smaller.
They're stalling. We don't know yet exactly, but it looks like. Okay, so we have, who are the stakeholders here?
The company.
Boeing. Boeing. The passengers. Yes.
The environment.
Airport.
Focus. The top 4 stakeholders, who are there? The top 4 stakeholders. The company, the passengers,
Pilots.
the pilot, and Ethiopian Airlines, right?
We didn't know.
You would if you read it. The Boeing, the passengers. I'm gonna write PAX for passengers. So the Boeing company, this is the logo. The passenger,
Yes. Environment.
the environment, not now. The pilot,
And the Ethiopian Airlines.
and the Ethiopian Airlines, which is the company.
This is the first thing I write in exam. Then
Who's responsible for this? Deaths.
The engineer?
Oh,
I don't know.
the IT engineers who program Max.
I didn't say IT.
The IT engineers who program this system. The IT engineers, very good, very good. What's your name?
Doctor, maybe the company, like bringing the
Oh, no, don't tell me. Talk to your friends, 1 minute, tell me the solution. A, B, C, D, E, F. Who is responsible? Doesn't work, man. Who is responsible?
The company is responsible of checking it.
Maintenance, the maintenance.
And it happened once, so they said report it. They said it happened 5 months ago.
Maintenance people, okay. Who's responsible? Bonus point if you answer correctly. This will be in the exam, by the way. Huh? CEO. Jesus. Ethiopian Airlines. I put it here, okay? CEO.
No, the
Separated. You want it separated?
Doctor, my opinion, Cuban Airlines.
I'm not interested in your opinion. I'm interested in what we learn in the class and who is responsible according to what we learn in the class. Yes.
only one responsible.
Cuban Airlines.
Ethiopian Airlines. Why?
Like bringing the bad, unexperienced IT engineers.
From UAE University. Ali, yes.
Only one responsible.
Only one is responsible. Sometimes a lot of people are responsible.
Okay. No, here.
I'm going to ask you in the exam. Who is responsible? What are you going to answer?
Ethiopian Airlines.
Boeing and
Give me a sec.
Ethiopian.
Who?
Boeing and Ethiopian.
Okay.
Because Boeing is made from a company and Ethiopian is like the owner.
Okay, let's see what happened here. The airlines wanted a more efficient plane. So Boeing came up with this version, which is the same plane as before with bigger engines, by bigger, which are more, the bigger the engine, the more efficient. But because they are bigger, they had to move them up and forward. And because of that, the plane became unstable, more unstable. Do you understand?
They took risk.
Because of that, if you read, they couldn't pass one of the exams they have to pass the planes to be airworthy, easy to fly.
But they still would need it.
So they say, okay, we will add this software that detects when the plane becomes unstable, and the software will automatically stop the pilot going into these situations, and this software is called MAX. What they think happened is that these pilots, which are from not Europe or USA, they are from Ethiopia and Indonesia, they say maybe they didn't receive enough training regarding the system. And that's why. They think they crashed. Okay? That's the situation more or less. The airlines wanted a better plane, but the plane is more dangerous if it's more efficient. So they put this software, but this software...
Isn't there like a black box for every airplane to check what happened?
Yes. So
But they didn't check it.
they check, and this is what they found out. Yes.
The company's problem because they wanted the more efficient.
The airlines are responsible.
They
Boeing.
didn't train the pilots because they wanted.
What about the IT engineer? Maybe they should have said, this is super dangerous, you shouldn't do it.
Because the Boeing who hired the IT.
Okay. So the correct answer is Ethiopian Airlines is responsible. Okay? But if you want an A in the exam, you have to say responsible legally or ethically. It's two different things, remember? So if you wanted an A, you should have said, what do you mean responsible, ethically or legally? And then answer both. So let's start legally. Legally, who is responsible? Who says Boeing? Let's start with, who says the IT engineer? Boeing?
Yes.
Boeing people? One. The passenger? Point two. The passenger? Pilot? Ethiopian Airlines? Maintenance guy? The CEO of Ethiopian Airlines? What about the rest of the people? Are you with me? Okay, so people that say Ethiopian Airlines, yes. Why?
Because they said
Legally, yeah?
that the pilot didn't receive enough training for this situation. Or
But
they haven't been.
we don't know if this is true or not. Let's say you don't know exactly if it's true or not. And it doesn't matter. Yes?
Because they buy this version of the plane
This issue.
and they should know about the problems.
You may say they were careless. Too greedy, maybe. Okay. No, that's not the correct answer.
I am.
Omar,
I am.
who do we send to jail?
Boeing.
Omar. Boeing? No, incorrect. So you should say, remember the respondeat superior? Respondeat superior? You should remember because it was in the quiz. Respondeat superior. Do you remember? Yes? I'm so glad we're recording the videos because then I can go to the video and say, here. Anybody remembers what's respondeat superior? the slide with the police car? Do you remember the slide with the police car? No? Respond, yes.
Wait, you didn't do quiz for us.
Yes, we did.
No. You did only one quiz.
Yes.
One. Two?
That one.
One. One quiz.
There's one from the blended. For the blended assignments, you have quizzes too, remember?
Wait, I don't know what is it.
It's fine. Check out the videos again. So, Google Respondeat Superior. Respondeat Superior. It was 1 or 2 questions in the quiz that you did, and it was in the slides and also in the book. You don't remember at all. Wow, we have a case of amnesia. Anybody else remember Respondeat Superior or no? Let's see. If you go to the slides, to the slide number slide number 43.
When you said that the employee is not responsible.
Yes. Yes.
Remember, yeah, the master is.
Yes. So how do you call that? Respond.
We don't make fault for the pilot and passenger.
Yeah, that's called Respondeat Superior.
It's very good.
Do you remember now?
Yes. Now my
Respondeat Superior means that what?
that employees are not responsible for company's fault.
Okay. So who is responsible here?
Ethiopia.
Good. So you should say, a good answer would be legally, according to the Respondeat Superior principle, Ethiopian Airlines, which is the employer of the pilot, the maintenance guy, is supposed to take care of the passenger
According to
and
risk.
buys, and buys things from Boeing and uses them to make money, right? They are the ones making money. They are the ones in charge. Who else could be responsible? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Question?
I was according to Respondeat Superior. We say that Ethiopian Airlines is responsible because they are the ones who hire these employees. They are the ones who buy.
Yeah. Even if the pilot was lazy, it's still the fault of Ethiopian Airlines because they are in charge of checking these things.
They have a lazy pilot.
No, they are. It's like if your kid does something bad to your neighbor, who's responsible, the kid or you? You. This is the same. If you blame here anybody else other than Ethiopian Airlines, you're just like saying it's the fault of my kid.
Oh.
That's exactly the same mistake. Make sense?
Yes. So now ethically.
Now, ethically, ethically, who's responsible?
Employees.
Look at the text you have here. There were issues, right?
Yes.
There were serious issues.
What is not legal?
So the model didn't pass the exam, right? Do you see that? The model didn't pass the exam, so they added this software on top of it so it could pass the exam. Yes?
Yes. IT.
So the IT engineers, seriously?
No.
So greedy airlines tell Boeing, make a more efficient plane. We don't care if it's more dangerous. And they tell you, hey, dude, Ali, come on, make a software to fix this problem. Is it your fault?
Boeing.
Boeing for
greed. They wanted
For-
more fast engines.
actually this is one of the most efficient airline models in the world, but it's also more dangerous.
Yeah. So we say ethically, according
Oil.
to
Ethically
frameworks.
Ethically Boeing, like legally Ethiopian airline.
Legally Ethiopian, ethically, who more Boeing or more Ethiopian? Who do you think?
Boeing.
Because they knew all these issues, right?
Yes. And they wanted more.
More profit.
They had all the information, or most of the information, much more than Ethiopian. Ethiopian just bought the plane because it was the best, cheapest available plane, right? Maybe. We don't know, right? We will never know.
So what we assume? Well, I mean, we never assume.
But definitely not the IT engineer.
Yeah, I think.
Even ethically, I don't think the last guy is the guy responsible. It has a boss, and the boss has a boss. And not blaming the boss, blaming the engineer, it's a bit unfair. And yeah, I don't know.
Boeing.
I will give you a 0 if you say that in the exam.
We will never. We will say Dr. Jose is responsible.
Yeah,
Can
good.
we say?
Other questions?
Give us the answer.
Oh, ethically. It's very complicated because we don't have all the information yet, right?
It's very complicated.
We don't know this exam, what happened. We don't know if the FAA, who's supposed to regulate this, we don't know if they didn't do the job properly or not. They should have been tougher on Boeing, maybe. Like say, no, this plane is not safe enough. We don't know. So it's very hard to make a decision. But just looking at the corporate structure,
We could assume that. Or
to,
no assumption.
with the small information we have now, Boeing, it's a very safe bet to blame ethically, because they are the ones that assume the risk. They knew about the problem. They make a software to fix it,
They didn't
but
calculate the
the software didn't solve the problem, as we have seen.
I feel we will fail.
Yeah. The projector is not working. Can you go to slide, chapter 2, slide 103? You have an exam now, right? What is it about? In my opinion, it doesn't make a lot of sense to study for an exam in another class. It's better to just do one thing 100%. So choose one. You can leave, but go study, or just can stay. But if you're here, just focus. Slide 103. For homework, from slide 60,
Can
To-
you open the quizzes? I mean the things that you sent, so we can look at previous answers to study for the midterm.
if you look at slide, we stop at slide 60 the last day. We need to see a few concepts quickly today. One of them is negligence. Can somebody read what's negligence in the slide? Yes. Ali, can you read it? Do you have the slide? No. Who has the slides?
I have, but my laptop.
I know. So open the slides because the projector is not working.
Slide 103.
Yeah. Not 103, 95. 95.
I see professional malpractice.
Yeah. Can you read it?
Negligence, not doing something responsible people, a person would do, or doing something that responsible person would not do.
Very good. So if I'm a bus driver and I'm very tired and I know I need to rest and I don't rest and then I have an accident, is that negligence?
Yes,
Why?
because it's my fault that I know I am tired and I didn't. What is negligence? Just ignoring.
So if you know something and you know it's a high probability that something bad will happen and you still do it, that's negligence.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Other concept, next one, duty of care. Ali, can you read?
Duty of care. Obligation to protect people against unresponsible harm or risk.
Unreasonable harm or risk, yes. The duty of care of the pilot is to save the passengers. You cannot say, I don't care if they die today. That's not good. And last one, Ali.
Professionals who breach duty of care liable for injuries that neglect causes.
Yes. So if you're a doctor or a lawyer, you have duty of care. There are some things that if you don't do them, you can go to jail or you can be punished legally. Make sense? As IT professionals, no, you don't have these things. But lawyers, for example, a lawyer, if you don't keep the secret of your customer, you breach the duty of care. And then it's the problem for you. They can say you cannot be a lawyer anymore. Stuff like that. Make sense? If you're a doctor and you find out that this person has this disease and you don't tell her because I forgot, breach of duty of care, you didn't do your job.
Maybe you want to kill her.
Slide 103. 103. 103, because it's not working. Now, a thing you should know, there's the thing called IT user. It's the guy that uses the email, the computer, all that stuff. A good organization will have policies helping the IT users be ethical. Like we have a code of conduct helping the employee to be ethical. So, do you know your rights and responsibilities as IT users here in the college? Has somebody told you how to use the email? Or has somebody told you, can you watch Netflix using the Wi-Fi of the uni? That means that there's not a very good policy helping you be a good IT user. Does it make sense? So good organizations will have a good policy, and you will have, you see in the slide, they will tell you what are your rights. Is your email private or not? Can you use it to buy things in soup.com or not? They will tell you what are the limits. Can you play video games inside the campus with the Wi-Fi of the campus? They will tell you, say yes, it's okay, or no, or yeah, from 5 to 6. Does that make sense? And there will be specified punishments if you cross the boundaries. Has somebody told you what will happen to you if you use the email to XYZ? Or if you use pirate software? No. Okay, so a good organization will explain all this. So,
Is it enough to use pirate software?
the fact that you don't know, it means that we don't have a very good IT policy.
Because
The
I
fact
see
that-
lots of doctors downloading pirate.
We don't have a very good IT policy. Yes.
Best IT policy.
We don't have a very good IT policy. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Who media used to talk to me about it.
Also, you have different kinds of employees and users. You have faculty, students, right? So the policy is different for each one. Like, who should have access to the Wi-Fi? A visitor should have access or not? So you want to distinguish different types of users. Slide 106, you have a list of good practices of IT usage policy. There's one that says that the password will change every 3 months. I think we have this one, right? What do you think about this one?
It's a reminder to change your just like.
Is it a good policy or a bad policy? Who thinks it's a good policy? Who thinks it's bad? Good policy, why?
Because sometimes when you make a password, it's just too secure.
Just tell me why is it good? Why is it a good policy? Anybody? Why is it good? Do you know why you have to change your password every 3 months? Security what? Does it improve security? Does it improve security?
Maybe someone is
Really? You say that on top of your head?
Because maybe someone like using your
I
account.
don't want maybes in this class. I want data. Do you have data?
To keep it in mind, do not forget it. I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. It's a good point. Yes.
Because some people they finish from the university.
Okay, good point. What else? The number one reason they force you to change the password in 3 months is for security, because if some hacker gets your password, if you change it frequently, it will be less useful for the hacker. That's it. The problem with this,
Even your friends, if they get your password.
yeah, correct.
The problem you cannot.
That's the reason. The problem is, and there's a lot of papers about this, is that if you force people to change the password so often
They will write it down.
on a post-it,
Yes.
and if you go to any professor's office, you will see some post-its always, and half of them you can see the password there. So actually, some policies make things worse. Yes? There's a few studies that say that this policy makes things worse, less safe. But at least it's something. Okay, good. Slide 107. What's the keyword here? What is the keyword? It's in red. No. Okay, compliance. It's in red in my laptop. What's compliance? What's compliance, Omar? No, compliance. What's compliance?
Ensuring security, privacy.
No.
Like establishing policy guidelines.
No. What is compliance? It's a verb. What does it mean to comply?
Comply.
Show me the strawberry you're doing.
Strawberry?
You were designing something?
He was designing.
That's very cool. Wow. What's compliance? Compliance means to follow the law. Okay? Follow the law. That's what compliance means. When you do a website or something, if you do a website or an app, you will have to follow several laws. One of them is HIPAA. If you collect medical records, information, you have to follow this special law. There's another one called COPPA. Do you know COPPA?
As in Kuhn Cooper from Mario?
COPA. So if you go, it'd be great to have the projector, but I don't know what. Ah, it's here. Okay, laptop. I don't think. Really?
Maybe
This class is called Responsibility in IT. All IT students here. No one can fix this?
I agree. It's incredible, right?
I think it's.
We'll watch the video on Riami's laptop. Riami, can you go to YouTube and put Silicon Valley COPPA, C-O-P-P-A. Silicon Valley, C-O-P-P-A. Valley, Silicon Valley, yeah, all together. Silicon, S-I.
Are you an IT student?
Okay, can I get the spell? CO?
What the hell?
Okay, here. How did you do it?
It's here from behind.
From behind? What happened? What is this? This is new. What? It was disconnected?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Bonus point. Bonus point for you.
7 bonus point. Then don't cry, tell me no, I cannot give 7.
When have I said that?
No, I'm joking.
Don't invent things. Seriously?
Some doctors gonna start, oh, you cannot give. Doctors are over there crying about 3 marks.
That's sad. All right. Silicon Valley. Okay, there's some language here. Just ignore it. Focus on the content. Okay, do you know this series, Silicon Valley? If you want to know what's a startup, it's the best. It's on HBO. You should be able to download it somewhere else. YouTube has half of the content there. BitTorrent. Nice. No comment. Now, end device.
It appears that 33% of your user contacts. I'm gonna have to work on Mr. Monahan. Good luck with this whole work release situation, but
This guy is the CEO of a company. They have a chat system. They just find out that they have users under 13. So COPPA says that if you have users under 13, their data is treated very specially. They need parental permission. And if you didn't require it, you're in violation of the COPPA law. So let's see what they say.
I don't know what this one. Mr. Sometime, it appears that 33% of your users are under the age of 13. It's also apparent that you have no parental permission requirements in place. You're going to want to sit down for this. Are you familiar with COPPA? Who?
That's the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act.
This act establishes strict guidelines to protect the privacy of younger children on the internet. You are in gross violation of this act.
You know how kids can't have a YouTube or Facebook account until they're 13? It's because of this.
Yes, but our users are chatting with each other, Jared, not some old creep.
No offense.
None taken. My shame will linger even after my voting rights are restored. Now, are there records of these chats on your server?
Yeah, we store everything. Okay, what's going on? How serious is this?
Each violation of COPPA carries a penalty of $16,000.
So we're fined $16,000? Oh no. I hope they pay cash.
$16,000 per user.
Not only each user, each use.
Estimated underage users times an average 25.6 chat sessions per user times $16,000. $21 billion?
All right. What happened here? Can somebody summarize?
So basic.
Yeah.
Happened that this guy doesn't have COPPA.
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 Not guy has.
No.
What's the verb we just learned? What?
Con something.
Con something.
Con something.
What's the verb?
Riyami doesn't
Comply.
comply.
Comply with COPPA. Then?
فevery chat he has on his database,
Not every chat.
every user
Every use.
of a user
Yes.
in his database
Every
is
time someone sends
$60.
a message,
$16,000. Okay, cool. Awesome.
I'll use him.
That's real. So if you do an app, be careful with those things.
I will not allow it under to be above 80.
there are IRC applications out there.
Yes.
People under 13 are not allowed to use it at all.
Yeah, correct.
What
Yeah.
if I make an app for games? There is no data.
If you sell it in the USA, you have to comply with the laws in the USA.
Oh.
You have to be, and the European laws. Most important new law is the GDPR. Do you know this one?
No.
Oh my God, GDPR.
Why they make things complicated? I just wanted to make an app.
GDPR is a law. Let's put it here. GDPR. It's a new one. That's why you will not find it in the slides or in the book. But it's super important, and we'll spend one day just talking about this one, but not yet. So GDPR, there were a lot of small laws like COPPA, HIPPA in Europe. It was a chaos. So the GDPR, they put all these laws under one huge big law. And basically it says things that if you take data from users and you're going to use it for something, you have to tell the users clearly and with plain language, not with blah, 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 blah. With like, I'm going to use your data to target advertisement to you. I'm going to use your data to sell it to other people. They have to tell you, which is why Facebook now and Google, they found guilty for many of these violations, and they had to pay a lot of money in Europe, not in the US. Make sense? So the GDPR is a very serious thing. The penalties are very strong also. So if you make a website, also the GDPR applies to all European citizens wherever they are. So I'm European, and if the university or DIWA or they're not complying with the GDPR, it's not a big problem, but if they travel to Europe and they have violated my data, and they will be in trouble. Does that make sense? So it's global. The reach is global. And that's why, if you remember a few months ago, you start seeing many accept in many websites. We changed the rules. It's because the European law required all the important websites and the not important ones to, hey, you have to tell the users what are you doing with the data.
Nobody reads.
Nobody reads, but it forced many websites to do things differently. And it's all been done to protect the users and the privacy, basically, which was like cowboy Far West. Nobody was checking anything. And it's cool. Last thing we need to see today, it's compliance, but also professional organizations. That's slide 70. So look at the back of your laptops. Look at the back of your laptops or your iPhones. Slide 70. Slide 70.
70 so far.
Yes. Do you see a mark that says FC or CE?
Yes.
What does that mean?
CE. Then warning.
What does the CE mark mean? What does the FC mark mean? The FC mark is a okay, 1 minute, yeah.
CE marking is a certification mark that indicates conformity with health, safety, and environmental protection standards for products sold within the European Economic Area.
Very good. So compliance, basically, yeah? So the CE mark means that this laptop which has a battery and emits radiation, will not cause you cancer and stuff like that. The same as the FC. Got it? If you want to sell things in Europe, you need to have this mark on your product. If you don't have it, you cannot sell anything. Got it? So that's an example of certification and compliance.
FC is for America?
FC is for the Americans. They're a bit different, but yeah. It means that this device will not pollute the radio waves, so that it's...
Wait, so if the device has CE on it, does it still need FC to enter America?
Definitely, yeah.
So it has to be tested twice.
So this laptop cannot be sold in America, probably only for European market.
Do we have in Middle East this one?
No, you just rely on, because the CE standard is pretty strong, so I guess they rely on. Another important thing, professional organizations. Do you remember what we said? If you want to be an IT professional, the two conditions we had.
Sleeping and eating.
Sleeping and eating, no. We needed what? Lifelong learning, right?
Working hard.
No, lifelong learning and give back to society, yeah? Right?
Yes.
How are you going to be, how are you going to give back to society?
I'm working on an engine that's going to be open source later on.
That's awesome. That's very good. Okay. Really good. Another less effective way is to join an organization like this one, for example.
Yes.
Do you know this one?
Yes, we joined projects with people.
Do you know this organization,
Yes.
IEEE? It's the largest computer electrical engineering organization.
And you can join online with people and make your own community.
If you're a student, you can join, and
Skillshare.
Yeah.
you can get money to do projects to visit. You know, when I was a student, we had a chapter for students of this. We got a lot of money to visit other countries, organize workshops with people from other countries for the summer, to find an internship abroad. So there's one called ITPB370. For example, it's this one.
The person with the biggest give back to the community is some guy called Vinny Boston on YouTube. He made programming videos on every programming language. He taught every programming language.
Interesting. So this is an organization, ITPB370, which is for and by students. So you can find internships abroad. It's very interesting. So it's a way to be connected. It's not active here. The student chapter, IEEE student chapter, is not active here. But any big university, they will have a very active student chapter. So it's a way for you to, you know, to improve your CV and to be connected with other people like you in other places. Of course, developing open source software is much more awesome these days. Yes? But anyway, just look at it.
Everybody does actually open source.
IEEE does many jobs. One of them is to publish papers and conference for people like me. But they also do standards. Do you know what's a standard? Last slide. Last minute. A standard.
Yes.
Do you know any famous standard? Yes. Any famous standard? No. Any famous standard? USB, for example. USB is a standard. I think it's an IEEE standard, and I don't remember now. But it's a definition of how big is the plug, what's the transmission protocol, and it's great because then everybody can make the same USB and it works for everybody because we all follow the same standards. If we don't have a standard, one guy makes a smaller, bigger USB and it doesn't fit in my lab, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know any other example of standard?
AUX.
Type C. AUX.
It's a standard, but it's not an international standard. It's from Apple.
No, Type C. It's like
Oh, they use it. Light internet standard. What about this one? Do you know this one?
Yes.
So that standard is by IEEE. So a lot of smart people gather together and say, what protocol is the best? What should we do? How should be the protocol be? They define it, and then Chinese router manufacturers can make routers that work with your Apple laptop. But if there was no standard, it would be a chaos. My laptop doesn't work with your Wi-Fi router. Why? Got it?
Also Bluetooth standard.
Bluetooth, it's another standard developed by Ericsson, yes, which is now global. Yeah. AUX, I don't know this one. Okay, that's all for today. Questions? Everybody's here?
Yes.
Good. Good luck tomorrow. No, in 2 days. If you have questions, do not call me. Do not call me the day before the exam. You can chat on Slack, ask your questions on Slack. Do not call me. Do not call me. Yes. Office hour, call me. Call me and say, don't call me the day before the exam, 24 hours before the exam. You're not allowed to call me. Okay?
The day before the exam, I will call you.
No, there's no office hours the day before. It's not professional. Because it's not professional the last minute to come to us for questions.
No, the day before.
The day before, 24 hours before, yes. 24 hours before, yes. Not the day of the exam. Okay? Don't call me the day of the exam. Well, have you convinced me?
Yes.
Really? I think so. With the values approach, you convinced me. Yes, I'm more convinced now. So yeah, we'll do it online.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right.
كم أصبح خلي فيه؟